Hi.
So, we just got back from Carrie. What'd you think?
Fuck that movie. Fuck Brad Jones. Fuck Stephen King. Oh,
Stephen King didn't write this screen
fuck
adaptation.
Stephen King, period. I fucking hate...
Okay, but you like the, what is it, 1978? Or 76 or 70s? You like that one. So you can't say fuck Stephen King because...
I really hate Stephen King as an author. I really do, and I hate it when people make movies about his books that are true to his books because they end up fucking sucking. He's one of those guys that comes up with a decent idea and has no fucking follow-through. Fucking radio's playing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
There, it's off now.
Anyway, so we just saw Carrie, and that was fucking horrible.
It was pretty much everything I expected. I formulated an opinion from seeing the trailers, reading stuff and whatnot about it, and yeah, pretty much the same opinion. Just, okay, maybe I noticed it more because I'm a girl and the kind of like continuity stuff is ingrained in me from working on projects. Her hair bugged the hell out of me. It would be unkempt one scene and then she would walk out the door and it would be nice, or vice versa. It went from like strawberry to blonde, and it just, because that was the thing in the preview, I was like, well, she's got like straight hair and then she'll come to school with it like, you know, a little wavy or whatever, and the mom's always, you know, psycho unpreppy because it'll lead to boys and sex.
Yeah, you know what? This was one of those movies where the minor details didn't fucking even matter to me.
But that's not
because
a minor detail. That's Carrie.
That's her hair in different scenes.
Okay, but no, here's the thing.
Detail.
She doesn't look awkward. She acts like, and this is nothing against, you know, the actress, but I mean, and I don't even know how to formulate this sentence here. Yes, in the books, Carrie was a fat girl with acne. Sissy Spacek, obviously not, but super thin, awkward. She acted like someone who had been abused her entire life. In this one, it's more so shy, awkward through the entire movie. She stands up to her mom just like a regular annoyed teenager before she even, you know, reaches the point of, you know, I'm fed up, I'm going to prom. They shove the telekinesis in your face way more in this movie. I don't remember how much it was in the book, but I mean, right from the get-go when they're throwing the tampons at her, she's lying in the shower and the tampons start moving away from her, and then the books and the bed and everything, and she's like practicing with glass, and to me, that took away from it because the whole point was the build-up to the prom and that she's not practicing this power. And it turned all Carrie, too, in the prom. Like, blood starts dripping upwards, and it wasn't like, what the hell is going on? Everybody knew from the get-go, oh my god, Carrie's crazy, she's doing this, and then they were scared, versus, you know, all of the murder and shit going down, like, what is this happening? Oh my god, it's Carrie. But, like, she got the black eyes and the red around the eye and was just, like, very showy. It almost looked like something that you would see, you know, Silent Hill, like, just very orchestrated versus out of shock. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It's just, this whole movie was a goddamn clusterfuck. The only highlight of it was crazy ass
Julianne Moore?
Yeah.
She was great.
She was good. But just, the movie had, I don't know whether to describe it as no build or too much build. I just, the storytelling was off. The characterization was god fucking awful.
Well, like, in the original, you wanted Chris to get hers. In this, it was almost like Chris was just thrown in an afterthought. The thing of her quitting gym class was just way over the top. Instead of being upset, it was like, you're all gonna get yours.
Her bitchiness was way too amped up and fucking crazy. It wasn't... Yeah, even in the original, she's obviously, you know, a villainous character. Mm-hmm. But to this degree, it's all...
Like, before they were serial killers.
Yeah,
They're gonna slit the pig's throat.
Yeah, it just, like, you know, way too over the top and too fucking. It was just too much. Like, I don't know. The whole movie was just too much. It was hammering you over the fucking head with all this stupid shit. And the simple beauty of the original movie is that it's a very simple movie. It's very.
And it was a lead up of discovery. It wasn't, I'm practicing doing crazy shit and then go on a revenge versus being in shock. And fun fact, speaking of the, original villains, Chris and John Travolta and, what's her name, Laughlin, that played the mom, they thought that the original Carrie was like a horror comedy because of how moronic and over the top they were.
Yeah.
So that's fun fact stuff. But,
this way it was definitely moronic and over the top, and just honestly some of the worst special effects I've seen in a movie in a really long time. I mean, and the green screen was obvious, the CG was god fucking awful, and I'm not as nitpicky about this as Brad is, because I know it's a major contention for him. I think if it's done well, it's done well. If it's done poorly, it's done poorly. But the fucking CG blood in this movie was just so fucking obviously CG. And it's one of those things. It just didn't work. The whole movie didn't fucking work. And fuck you, Brad!
It was like they tried to stay true to the original and work things in with the book, and I actually watched the made-for-TV movie today. It was 2002, and so there were a lot of crossover things. I don't remember that much about the book. I looked up a couple things, but at the end when it started raining rocks...
It rains fucking rocks! What the fuck is that shit? Out of nowhere.
Apparently that's in the book, but they didn't tie it in because that's supposed to tie in with a story when she was a kid. She saw this topless sunbather and her mom caught her, and then when she was younger she had it raining rocks. I don't know what that was supposed to be, like moon rocks, asteroids.
Fucking nowhere it's raining rocks on the house, and that's
and not
how
like
their house
huge
comes
asteroids,
down.
like boulders that you would have in your lawn.
Perfectly round fucking rocks. Out of fucking nowhere, just falling on this house, and it's just, fuck you, Stephen King. That is the dumbest fucking way to end a story ever. Fuck you, Stephen King. Fuck you, the people that made this movie.
Well, come on, they added that, like, Sue was preggers, so that's new.
Fucking cares?
Nobody.
Who gives a rat's fucking ass?
Well,
oh my god.
I mean, you said that how Carrie didn't really matter, but she was prettier than the lead, bitchy girl, Chris. And I just thought it was awkward.
How she looks does the look of the character matters. Her hair changing slightly scene to scene doesn't fucking matter.
But it's not slightly, it's like straight down, and then it's like they couldn't decide how they wanted her to look, because there were times where she looked more of an outcast and timid and abused versus just being shy with straight down hair. It was kind of the mannerisms changed as well, and it was all within. To me, see, with the glaring faults in that movie that were much worse than that, that is so fucking minor. No, to me, that's just so fucking minor that it when there's dumber, worse things happening, such as the entire screenplay, her hair not matching in scenes doesn't. Well, no. I don't mean not matching. I'm talking about the presentation of her just being kind of normal and shy, and then that disheveled, blatantly neurotic, abused type person. Like, there were times where she had kind of black circles under her eyes, and they made an effort to make her look more homely. And then there's other times where it was just kind of, she had so much base and stuff caked on to make it look like she wasn't wearing makeup that it just, I mean, if you look at Sissy Spacek and just how, haggard they made her look in that movie versus, hey, we're going to put a lot of makeup on you so it doesn't look like you're wearing makeup. Because it's like, if you're going to change the essence of the character, going from, a larger girl with acne to, a either too skinny girl or an awkward girl, but the majority of the movie, she just act shy. Like, she didn't act like someone who was being abused her entire life, and she would, just kind of candidly stand up to her mom. And yeah, there were times where, it was great with the screaming and things like that, but I don't know. There was an interview with Chloe and Julianne Moore, and they mentioned something about how they tried not to harp on the religious aspect, and I don't know where she was saying that, because they pretty much, put it in unless it goes way beyond in the book, because I was upset when I heard that, because that's kind of a core part, is the mom is free. They made her just like a self-abusing cutter, and I didn't understand that.
The mom?
Yeah.
Just a sense of craziness, and also, I get that. It's the flailing upon yourself for your sins or whatever.
But instead of that, you knew she was a religious nut. It's like, develop the other characters. It seemed like a Cliff Notes version of whatever the book and the original movie was meshed together. Be like, we'll take some of this and some of this, and then we'll hurry it along here. So it was like the people that were nice to her, other than Tommy, you didn't really care, like, get to know their portrayals. And that's something the TV movie actually did kind of well.
It would have been nice if they had actually focused on the main character. I don't give a shit about the side characters. Make the main character interesting. I just, in the sissy space, it makes that a character that you, to a degree, fucking feel for. In this movie, I just wanted her to shut the fuck up. I hated everything about this goddamn movie.
What didn't you like about Carrie? Not the movie,
the character?
Yeah.
One, it was poorly portrayed, and I think that girl is an actress that has a future ahead of her doing different things, but this was just so poorly fucking portrayed. And like you said, she doesn't come across as an abused person. She comes across as a whiny, shy little fucking brat, and, her mom's a fucking cunt, and that's fine, but and it's just, nothing in that movie had any sense of pacing or style, or anything else. I really missed Brian De Palma's direction so badly in this, because there's no storytelling in this movie. It was just, here are the facts, and then at the end, we're gonna make shit blow, like, just the useless use of, just overuse of special effects and the throwing in of the telekinesis and doing it so fucking poorly. It would have looked better if they put fucking books on strings.
It would.
And at the end, the fake CG fire, the fucking bullshit flying electrical cords that she's whipping people with, the fucking CG blood, giving unique deaths to each of the characters.
Yeah,
Who gives a shit? Just kill them all off at once.
That was kind of like how I felt. It was like, oh, hey, we're doing something different. And it was seriously like something you would see out of a Silent Hill finale with the blood dripping up and just very theatrical with her movements. And the thing that made it so
overly theatrical, though, just this...
No, that's what I mean, like the very...
stiff, weird arm movement and the weird fucking facial expression she was making. And just fucking... She looked... Her face the entire time she was doing that was different versions of the face at the end of Sleepaway Camp. It was fucking stupid. It was fucking stupid.
But she had no dick.
Fuck. That would have at least made the movie somewhat interesting. That was just so fucking dumb.
What I want to say is that...
I've seen almost exclusively shitty movies this year, and that was easily one of the fucking worst. And just aggravating, because it's a remake of a good movie, which in my opinion is always fucking unnecessary, and it's a shitty remake of a good movie, which makes it fucking worse.
They said too, they're like, oh, well, we're updating it. It's like the only thing they really updated, other than, yes, clothes and, hair, is really that they put the video of the plug it up online. So they bring,
Oh, yeah, let's bring in cell phones and the internet into it. It'll make it better.
And that was the thing that didn't make sense. Okay, so you've got Chris texting Sue being like, your girl looks good right now, but she won't for long. And then Sue freaks out and runs to the school. In the book, she originally finds out about the school thing because of sirens and the TV and everything. In the original movie, she goes in to check on Carrie and see how they're doing. And that was a great lead-in because she finds out that Chris is going to do it. She tries to stop it, and it's very built up. Like, she's almost going to stop it, and you know she doesn't because in the trailers they showed it, even in the original movie. But it's just that essence. And so she goes running in the school. It's like, your boyfriend fucking texted you. It was like, hey, Carrie's having a great time, miss you. It's like, just fucking text him. It's like, if you're gonna bring cell phones into it, it's like, obviously that's not the biggest problem with this movie, but it could have been something as simple as no cell phones at prom, you know. It just didn't make sense. She had her cell phone out, and then she goes to run into the school. So that, you just missed that entire build-up, and that was the point with the prom. It's just this huge build-up, and then all of the chaos, and this wasn't really chaos, it was like a large, huge sonic scream. Everybody flies against the doors, electric cables like whipping, the sprinkler systems goes off, she makes two twins get trampled over that were like two of the bitches, and it wasn't...
It's less of that crescendo of her losing control.
And just anger.
And just, you don't get that same sense of rage or anything, you just get a sense of... It makes Carrie seem really petty.
It villainized her, whereas before it was a shock reaction.
Yeah.
And, you know, in the original, they did great because, you know, all of the stuff started happening, they didn't know why, and then they found out it was Carrie, versus right at the start, blood flying up, fucking black eyes, a red ring around one eye, and they're like, oh my god, are you seeing this? And then hell breaks loose, and that really cheapened it.
No, yeah, there was... Yeah, because that was the masterstroke of the original movie, was that Brian De Palma gave everything a sense of build and gravity. In this, it just fucking hits, and it doesn't have the same effect. It doesn't... You know, the first one's not a fucking scary movie. It's not. And this wasn't scary at all. This was fucking laughable.
You did laugh.
I did laugh out loud several times at this movie because it was so fucking stupid. There's nothing redeemable about this movie. Julianne Moore's performance was commendable, but she's been better in almost everything she's been in. And everything else was just sloppily done, and just, it had no... I want to say it had no style to it, but it was so over-stylized that I can't say
no
that.
Heart. And I appreciate what they tried to do with the relationship between the mom and Carrie, because even though she was abused, she still loved her, but it was so up and down, and I just think they achieved that better in the original, which oddly enough they said they tried to improve on.
No, they made it worse.
They did, because I mean, in the original, you know, she's pushing her mom away, but she still feels awful, and she's like, "Watch your fingers," and then slams the door. And apparently, Carrie can do pyronesis or whatever it's called because she welds the fucking lock to the door shut with her mind.
For no reason. You think in the back when you know you're thinking when you see that. I've seen the original. I know there's going to be fire. Are they going to make her pyrokinetic too?
Nope.
At the end? No. All the fire's circumstantial. Or she causes certain events to happen to make fire, so she could just weld fucking metal for no reason. It was a fucking... They couldn't think of anything else, so that's what they did.
The lock would have been sufficient enough. I mean, it is... But yeah,
no, it was...
And the ending, they tried to work in the courtroom thing, and then it just became a very blatant statement about bullying today and pushing people too far. And then at the end, instead of the whole hand under the grave thing, you know, it does have
which
the
is
tombstone.
one of the first and the greatest jump scares in movie history, because it has an impact to it. In this, it's just a really cheap, bad special effect, and it's not the fucking hand her grave's cracking.
Yeah.
And it's a really bad-looking special effect. Like, every special effect in this fucking movie. Whoever did the green screen work needs to be fucking bludgeoned to death with one of those fucking round rocks. Because no sense of perspective. They have this fucking camera shot that's supposed to be going from through the roof down to them 2 stories, but they don't change in size. The hole just goes and they're right there. But the whole time, they don't change in size. When you do something like that, you have to change the perspective of the camera as it moves. What you finally focus on cannot just stay the same. You have to change the fucking perspective.
Wow, you're angry. I'm really glad I decided upon throwing tampons at you and yelling, plug it up.
Fucking, I am so sick of seeing shitty movies, and this was one of the worst yet this year, and fucking hell, it was just bad filmmaking. It was just bad fucking filmmaking, and it was insulting because it was a fucking remake of something that was good.
And the actors and, the people that worked on it do love the original. And to me, the original didn't need to be remade. The only thing out of date, really, was the hairstyles and, the fact that it was the 70s. But that doesn't mean that... that's like saying, oh, Back to the Future's out of date because they're wearing 80s clothes. It seemed like a mishmash of, hey, let's take what we love from the original, but we're going to change it because we don't want a carbon copy. And then let's take stuff from the book because, that's important too. The original had to change things for several different reasons. But it felt mishmashed. And the stuff they took from the movie, certain lines that were delivered from certain characters felt carbon copy. It felt forced. Things that were taken from the book were not necessarily chosen great, like the whole thing with the pigs and the suey, oink oink, pig's blood for a pig, doesn't make sense when it's not, a fat girl, because there's no context.
It was just an unnecessary scene, too. It made the villain characters look less like, bad kids and like
Psychotic.
Fucking sociopaths.
Yeah.
Seriously, nothing redeemable. Just fucking rocks falling from the sky. There's nothing redeemable about this movie. And I don't give a fuck.
To blame on the story.
Yeah, and like I said when we started this, fuck Stephen King, he's a shitty fucking writer.
My take on it is if you're gonna end it like that, at least explain why that originated. It's like you don't do one without the other.
Okay, but where do they fucking come from?
The sky.
No bullshit!
The sky is falling!
Bullshit!
The sky is falling!
Oh my god, can we be done now? My brain's gonna fucking explode.
You got carried.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Wait, I gotta explain that. On the ticket, it says carry-D, meaning, I guess, 1D instead of 3D. So it says carried on the ticket.
I'm done.
Okay.
I have to get out of this car.